Hello everyone, I'm Nick Blaszczak with sports. It may be school vacation week in Maine, but basketball teams from across the state aren't taking any breaks from hitting the hardwood to play hoops. The annual state championship tournaments are in full force as the field narrows down to the regional finals. We'll start by taking a look at the latest from the Class D playoffs. The boys of Machias will take on Southern Aroostook in the regional championship following a 68-37 victory over Easton, last year's state runner-ups. Gould advances to the regional finals against Greenville after defeating the reigning state champions of Valley High School 76-61 on Wednesday. There will also be a new champion in the girls division with Forest Hills ousting top-seeded Rangeley in a close 33-29 shootout. Forest Hills moves on to face Vinyl Haven. Rounding out the Class D field is Shed versus Southern Aroostook. Shed will look to repeat as the regional champions on Saturday. Opening tip-off is slated for 9:05 a.m. Half of the regional finals field is set in Class C with 4 games today to determine the other half. On the boys' end, Fort Fairfield hosts Skank at 2:05 p.m. Both teams are coming off a 20-plus point victory in the quarterfinals. Later on, the defending champs of George Stevens High School will square off against Dexter at 3:35 p.m. In the girls' division, Piscataquis visits George Stevens for a chance to make the Final Four. The opening jump is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Finishing up the Class C field of games today, it's Dexter battling top-seeded Stearns. Game time is set for 8:35 p.m. Moving on to Class B, the regional finals are set. Boys, Wells advances to face Yarmouth after slipping past Bruce Mountain with a 1-point victory. Senior forward Owen Berry hit a go-ahead jumper with 8.8 seconds remaining to keep Wells in the hunt for their first regional title since 1984. Orono gets a shot at redemption in the regional finals after falling short of the state championship last year. The Red Whites will look to duke it out against second-seeded Mount Desert for a trip to the state finals. Girls, a rematch of last year's regional finals is in store for Lincoln and Gray New Gloucester. Lincoln will look to get redemption of their own on Saturday at 1 p.m. Top-seeded Holton takes the floor against Foxcroft Academy after sneaking past Herman 37-33 in overtime on Wednesday. Holton reaches the Final Four intent on defending the state title. In Class A, the stage is set for the regional finals. In the boys' division, defending champions Falmouth rear up to take on Greeley after surpassing Cape Elizabeth 43-38 on Wednesday. Opening tip-off is scheduled for 8 p.m. on Saturday. Oceanside is also looking for a repeat appearance in the state championship following a 67-51 win over Coney. Oceanside will face off in a bout against Messalonskee this afternoon at 2:45 p.m. Girls, a pair of teams that reached the regional finals last year, have edged their way back this year. After missing the state championship last year, both Messalonskee and Greeley are making a bid for the title. Top-seeded Messalonskee is 1 win away from accomplishing that feat, but standing in their way is Nokomis. This game is currently underway. Greeley gets their turn at the regional finals tomorrow night when they face Brunswick. Teams take the court at 6 p.m., and rounding out the tournament update is the second annual Class AA field. Tonight, all 4 final regional games will take place. The boys of South Portland match up against Thornton at 8 p.m. Runners-ups in last year's tournament, South Portland is vying for a chance to have back-to-back appearances in the state finals. Reigning champs of Portland continue to defend their title as they face Edward Little at 8:45 p.m. In the girls' division, Gorham also looks to defend their title as they host South Portland at 6 p.m. And after defeating last year's runners-ups Edward Little 46-40 on Tuesday, Deering is on the quest for glory as they visit top-seeded Oxford Hills. Tip-off is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Speaking of tournament basketball, the North Atlantic Conference playoffs are underway. Hudson's men and women's basketball teams are taking a shot at the semifinals this evening. NESCom sports reporter Cassidy Moore joins us live in the newsroom with more on that story. Cassidy?
That's right, Nick. Both Hudson's men's and women's teams ranked #1 in the NAC Conference. Both teams also had a 16-2 record. Today, the men are starting off facing #4 ranked London State at 3 p.m. The teams have an even 1-1 record against each other. The Eagles lost to the Hornets by 1 point a month ago. After the men's game, the women's will be facing Kobe Sawyer at 6 p.m. The Eagles have an undefeated record against the Chargers this year, beating them by 20 points in each of their 2 matchups.
Cassidy, aside from holding the top spot in the playoffs, what other achievements have the basketball programs accomplished this year?
Well, the men's program sees Raheem Anderson earn NAC Player of the Year, Justin Martin earns Defensive NAC Player of the Year, and Eli Itkin won the Sportsmanship team. For the women, Chandler Jarrett wins the NAC Player of the Year, and Kissy Walker gets her 6th NAC Coach of the Year title. Nick, back to you.
Okay, Cassidy, thank you for that report. While local high school and college basketball seasons wind down, the baseball season has just begun, and for the Boston Red Sox, yesterday meant their first taste of exhibition action. Before facing Major League competition, the Red Sox suited up for a matchup against Northeastern College. Boston blew the game wide open with a 6-run third inning thanks to home runs from offseason acquisition Mitch Moreland and Sam Travis. Northeastern pulled within 3 runs of the Red Sox, but failed to complete the comeback, falling 9-6. Boston returns to the diamond this afternoon for a contest against the New York Mets. Since firing head coach Claude Julien, the Boston Bruins have won 4 out of their last 5 games heading into Thursday night's affair with the Los Angeles Kings. The Bees keeping their momentum up as they continue their West Coast road trip. We'll pick this one up early in the first period. Brad Marchand knocking the puck loose as an odd man rush, 2-on-1. Patrice Bergeron to his left, but he fires this one himself, takes it himself. His 26th goal of the season puts the Bruins up by 1. Now late in the first period, Alex Martinez firing a howitzer, cross-crease pass on the rebounding. Kevin Gravel, his first NHL career goal, and he ties this one at 1 apiece. Second period, Bruins on the power play. David Pastrnak breaks the stick, but splits the wickets of Peter Budaj to put the Bruins up 2-1. Now, third period, Kings have their goalie pulled, trying to get back into this one. Marchand with the loose puck, feeds it to Dominic Moore, gets stacked at the center ice, but he finds the end of the net. But that wouldn't be the end for the Bruins. They'll add a little bit more on here. As you can see, David Krejci just flicking this one away to give the Bruins a 4-1 victory. Boston, knowing that California was in a little bit of a drought, decided to help them out by raining goals. Kings, losers of 6 of their last 8, will look to rebound tomorrow as they take on the Anaheim Ducks at 4 p.m. Boston will get back to try and continue their winning ways as they wrap up their road trip against the Dallas Stars Sunday at 12:30. That wraps up this edition of sports, but when we come back, Michaela Abruzzi will have your local weather forecast. We're back in a flash. Stay tuned.